Good day and welcome to another edition of Outside of Genie, where we will be looking today at the race meeting on the Greyville Polytrack. Today is the 1st of March. Already the first 2 months of the year gone. Wow, how time flies when you're having fun, isn't it? I must say, but I must actually admit that these days to find winners on these cards are not fine. Really had a bad day yesterday, I must admit. Things didn't go to plan. But I have realized that once there's a venue change, there's always a bit of problems. And yeah, so let's move on to today, where we start off the first race of 12:55 with a maiden plate over 1,100 meters on the poly. Let's have a look at the betting. 11, number 8, Life Goes On. Life Goes On, as I said just now, Life Goes On. Even money. 7 Song, 11 to 2, 6 to 1, Lord Cairo. King Cider, 7 to 1, Zubiri. 7 to 1, 14 to 1, Icon Elect. 16 to 1 Alma Mater, Austin Creed 33 and 50 and to 1 and longer the rest. So here we have the first race at Clinton Bender coming down from Gauteng with his horse, number 8, Life Goes On. Life Goes On had run some decent races in Gauteng and now find himself on the poly. And I must say, Mr. Clinton Binder is a shrewd man. He knows when to bring a horse down on the poly. I'm not sure what his statistics are, but I'm sure it's going to be good. He has engaged Warren Kennedy to ride the horse. It's drawn 8 on the poly, not a bad draw. And this horse ran second behind also Keith, who has won subsequently again. Last week ran second to Staten Street. Certainly Life Goes On must be a huge contender in this field. Then for outsider selections, I went with number 7, which is 7 Song. 7 Song has run a few places on the poly and does like to go to the front. And I do find that sometimes on the poly, it is front runners sometimes do stay on. And yeah, I think 7 Song might be a good selection for your quartet and trifecta selections. My other outsider selection is number 9, Zuberi from the Teeny Prince stable. This horse used to come from Port Elizabeth, but now finds itself in KwaZulu-Natal on the poly, and didn't do badly last time. Was just behind Life Goes On in the same race as Stratton. Certainly not without a prayer in this race. And then obviously you can also include number 2, which is Lord Cairo, also a perennial place getter and has been placed on the poly twice over this distance, second time every time. So Lord Cairo also a horse that you need to include in all your play. Then we move on to race number 2, which is another maiden plate for fillies and mares over 1,100 meters. And the betting as follows. Here we have number 2, Give Me the Purple Light, 3 to 1, Airbus 11 to 2, Intombi 13 to 2, Bika Lows 15 to 2, Everclow 15 to 2, Super Leilas 15 to 2, Mystery Strip 11 to 1, and 12 to 1, and better the rest. I must admit, with respect to the owners and trainers in this race, not an inspiring bunch of horses. I have reluctantly had to go with the favorite number 2, Give Me the Purple Light. But surely this race, I will not be running to put my money on anything in this race. Number 2 did run a nice race behind She's a Keeper. She's a Keeper subsequently ran second again after the maiden. Was due to run yesterday but was scratched. And then fluffed the lines on the Scottsville behind Eager Duchess, but it looked to me like it was a bit of a strong maiden, as the average merit rating in that race for that maiden plate was 70, which is quite, I think, a little bit above average for maiden plates. So with Warren Kennedy on board from drum 2, Give Me the Purple Light certainly must have a chance in this race. But there are other contenders that I do like. One of them is number 3 in Tombi, a 4-year-old filly by a Dynasty out of a Parade Leader mare. Has shown some improvement last time out behind Sweet Scented Green when it ran on from behind in 24.3, and might be a horse that you want to keep on. Early in her career, she did run nicely in some barrier trials, but then they debuted her over a 14 and a 1700 meters, and she didn't show anything. But when they put her over the 1,000 meters, she certainly improved a little bit. So maybe they thought she's going to be a stayer, but proved to be the opposite. Then my other outsider selection is number 4, BK Lowe's, getting the -2, drawn 4. Also, last time out showed the last 2 runs showed a bit of improvement on the first 3 runs, and maybe this filly, What a Winter Funny by out of Miss Big Mama by Jet Master is coming to hand. I see Graham Hawkins also a shareholder in this horse with Suzette Viljoen, so BK Lowe's might be an improver. And then also another horse you want to have a look at is number 10, which only had 1 ring, Super Lila. But I do feel that she can improve. Although it says here 1 pace run, she did run 23.7 400 to finish, which is not bad. I mean, it's not a world beater, but it is certainly better than some other horses in this race. And then there was another first timer, which I think you can also have a look at, Spirit of Dhaka, as a captain of all by Jetmaster May. Very nice breeding. In that same race, slow lagged, but also ran 23.5, which was third for fastest to 400 meters. I'm sure that was in the same race as Super Lila, yeah, behind Flying the Star. So certainly number 8, Spirit of Dhaka, also a horse that you want to include in your play. Then we have number 11, your Airbus, who has placed a few times, but I'm not confident on this one. Maybe a horse that you want to probably look out for is number 12, Capulet's Heart. Also a horse that has run a place or 2 and can surprise for the back end of the quartets. Then we move on to race number 3, which is made with a 65 handicap over 1,000 meters. And here the betting is as follows. Number 1, Diamond and Dust, 28 to 10. Mexican Cat Dance, 5 to 1. Just a Guy Thing, 6 to 1. 6 to 1, Numi. Charlie Fox, 15 to 2. Leslie Sundown, 8 to 1. And 9 to 1, and Better Scratch, number 3, Rocket Fire. So here in this race, my first selection is number 10, Numi. Before I get to number 10, the favorite here is number 1, Diamonds and Dust. But my problem is that this horse is running against some hard knockers on the poly, carrying 60.5, but definitely with draw 1 is advantage. But if you have a look at number 10, Numi always appear late on the scene, always find somebody else to beat her. But today she's carrying 58 -4, so she's carrying only 54 kilograms. The draw 10 is not a problem because she always comes on the poly down on the outside rail, running on strongly. As you can see here, fastest 400 to finish, fastest 400 to finish, fastest 400 to finish, second fastest 400 to finish, ran on well, moved up well, ran on well. And I think today is the day that Numi is going to get it right to win a third race. I remember she hasn't won for 581 days. And the last time she won, I also then gave her, and I remember that day she was something like 12 to 1, and then they started backing her in. So certainly I think number 10, Numi, a huge runner in this race, and I think based on the weights, number 1 will have to be a very good horse to beat her on the weights that you have to give away to Numi. So my other outsider selections is number 5, which is Charlie Fox. Charlie Fox liked to go to the front, set the pace, and I think this is where we will see an interesting thing, where he will go to the front and Numi trying to run her down. Another horse that is improved is number 6, Set to Date. Also getting a -2.5, leaving her with 57 on the back. Still, I think a little bit of a way to lump for a 3-year-old in this field. But set the date, also a type of horse that goes to the front early and say, catch me if you can. So maybe he and number 5 will be setting the pace. Numi and number 1, Diamond and Dust, trying to run them down. And also in this race, a horse that you want to have a look at is number 9, Just a Guy Thing. Also a horse that I think shown has some ability early in his career, running against far stronger than he's meeting today. This horse has been running in 85s, 86, and now today finding itself in a E Division 63. Certainly, I think Just a Guy Thing type of horse with Warren Kennedy on board, that surely is also a huge runner in this race. So let me move on to race number 4, sorry, which is another maiden plate over 1700 meters. Let's have a look at the betting here. Here the betting is as follows. Number 3, Good Girl, 28 to 10. 4, Dancing Sword, 5 to 1. 4 to 1, 5 to 1, Rainway, 240, 15 to 2. Duncu's Whistle, 8 to 1, Diamonds and Dust, 9 to 1. Polynesia's 11 to 1, 12 to 1, Maxine de Mont, and 14 to 1, and better the rest. So here in race 4, my selection is number 4, and that's Dancing Sword. Number 4, some Dancing Sword. Has run some huge and nice races on the poly. Here ran a nice second behind Incankara, who's been placed twice after that on the poly. Last time out, ran again Reckless Love, was there, just faded out a little bit, but was hanging. And with Kiko de Milo riding on top of his game, I think Dancing Sword will be hard to beat in this field. Also, I know those breeding this mare Tyranno has produced some nice winners in her time. It's an older mare, I do know of her. They paid 260,000 Rand for this horse. Certainly, you don't pay that kind of money if the horse doesn't look like a racehorse. So certainly, I think Dancing Sword today in this field, a very huge runner. For outsider selections, I'm going with number 5, Rainway, who did improve last time behind Horoscope at 25 to 1, running second, but that was on the Scottsville, and will have to repeat that run on the poly, but one will have to see. Another horse that I am following for a while now is number 6, Dunkyushu Whistle, or whatever you pronounce the name. I'm sorry about if I didn't spell it right, but this horse came improved last time over the 2,000 meters, now going a little bit down in distance again to the 1,400 meters, but do show some pace, and look for riders on board from draw 6. Do include in all your play. Don't leave it out. Then obviously we have the favorite here, which is number 3, and that is Good Girl. Yeah, Good Girl also in with a chance. Has been running a few nice places against some decent opposition. So certainly not without a prayer in this race. We move on to race number 5, which is a 1,600 meters. Phyllis Amez 67 handicap, class D, average merit rated 66, and the betting as follows. The betting is number 6 to Apollo Honey 17 to 2, KCL's 4 to 1, Tombola 8 to 1, Made in France 11 to 1, Fiery Fairy 11 to 1, Wave Crescent 13 to 1, You Deserve It 16 to 1, 16 to 1 Tango Time, 20 to 1 and longer the best. Yes, the favorite is number 6, Teopolo Honey, but my selection here is a nice outsider, number 2, which is You Deserve It. Jason Geist on board for Clinton Binder. He's ridden this horse 3 times for a 1 win. Did win with it against Lotus. And I think this powerful filly by Jalad Mare is going to enjoy it. He's going to enjoy the poly. That is why they're bringing the horse here. They're certainly not bringing this horse here to show him the track. And this horse likes to go handy, which would suit him on the poly. And I'm sure turning for home, you'll find You Deserve It in the firing line. Then my outsider selections is number 10, which is Made in France. Made in France won her maiden on debut, and then didn't show much, but improved last time behind Meet at the George on the poly. So she has had 2 runs for a win and a 6th place on the poly. Draw 10. Again, Keegan de Milo, I think Made in France, certainly a horse that you need to keep an eye on. And then my other outsider selection is number 12, Fiery Fairy from the Nathan Cotson stable, getting the -2.5. This horse has also been running well, there and thereabouts. Last time out, he ran a stronger division in a 77. Now finding it back in a 66, where last time in a stat division ran a third behind in Jest. And I do feel that number 2, Fiery Fairy, can be involved in the finish, although it would look as if you might prefer the further, but definitely do not leave out Fiery Fairy. And then we'll have a look at another horse, number 6, which is this is the favorite. Has had run 3 seconds in a row behind Wishful Girl, Free State Star, and Wishful Girl. Free State Star has won again since, so certainly also a horse with a chance. But in this kind of divisions, anything can happen. And I do feel that number 2 is not yet to come and have a look at the waves out at the sea. So let's move at race number 6. Race number 6 is a fillies and mares 63 handicap over 2,000 meters. And here the betting is as follows. Number 8, Ingakara 15-4, Beljar 9-2, Mission Beach 5-1, Cozy.com 11-2, QFU 7-2, Golden Duck 8-1, Twice a Special 10-1, 14-1, Legend has it, and 25-1, and longer the rest. And here my first selection in race 6 is number 6, which is also a visitor coming from Gauteng, and with another shrewd trainer, Tony Nassif. He'll never bring a horse if it hasn't got a chance. The other day again, he brought a horse at very little form, and he managed to place with this horse. Ran a good race. I forgot the name, so the name escapes me. But number 6, Twice a Special, is now running here in the E57. But as you can see, this horse has run before in D Division 70, 74. Has also been there and thereabouts. Ran well again. Carla's Dream, no donkey herself. And so I would think that number 6, Twice a Special, is certainly here to make an impression, and I feel that she has the capability of winning in this race. My outsider selection as follows: number 9, which is Q for You from the Andre Nell stable. Garrett Wright did win a maiden 2 runs back last time, wasn't disgraced behind Cozy.com, and I feel number 9, Q for You, can make an impression in this race. Nicely bred out of Sydney Rose by Last Tycoon. Certainly Sydney Rose was a horse that had a bit of ability. My other outsider selection is number 10, which is Through the Trees, a nice outsider. Also, this horse, the Lavender Nasal stable, is coming to form, has got a jockey on who wins with an outsiders, and I've just got a feeling that this horse is going to run a better race today here on the poly. Has had 10 runs for only a win, but I don't know. It's just that I think this horse is a horse that you need to include because it says here handy, always weekend. Now number 10, they're putting it over the 1600 meters again, over the 2000 meters. I apologize, and I think maybe this horse will show some nice pace over the 2,000 meters. Has run over the 2,000 meters before, fading late on the poly. So do include in the backends of your quartet and trifectas. Then we have a look at the favorite, number 8, Ingakara, a Wonder Maiden and After Maiden. Has run some decent races behind Wishful Girl and Cozy.com. So certainly also not without a prayer. We then move on to race number 7. Race number 7 is 1,400 meters, merit rate at 65, handicap, class E, average merit rate at 62. So here's the betting on Race number 7, Two of Us 3-1, Water Blast 9-2, Dallas 15-2, Norland 9-1, Puccini 10-1, Precious Love 11-1, Hello Again 11-1, Palace Win 12-1, Strike It Like a Match 12-1, and 14-1, Stand By Me 18-1, and longer the rest. And certainly I think on the card, one of the most open races, number 7. My first selection here is number 9, a horse called Norland. Now, Norland is from the Chris Erasmus stable, who I believe has relocated to KwaZulu-Natal. I'm not sure where he's training from, but Norland here finds herself in a in a merit-rated E62. Now, if you have a look at this horse, first of all, the merit rating has come down from a 74 to a 65. Now, Norland is no donkey, has ride 50 runs for 4 wins, 10 seconds, so surely can lift his feet a little bit. But running on the poly for the first time, but I'm sure that will not be a disadvantage. Furthermore, if you have a look here at ability rating, running B division, C division, hasn't run in the E division for a very long time, and has run against some decent horses in Gauteng. Stop for Nothing, Last of a Legend. Here you have Quattro Passi, Elliot running a future on Saturday. So I think number 9, and he's got a huge chance in this race, and also has this jockey Calvin Habib, who certainly can win with outsiders. He knows how to win with outsiders, so certainly do include in your play. Then my other outsider selections is number 11, which is a horse from the Tini Prince stable called Precious Love. Now, Precious Love is in the same situation, has run in the last 2 races, both times run against decent opposition. Before that, ran in a novice at a 76 against Light That Lose, Purple Powerhouse. And I think number 11, Precious Love, is going to run a huge race today here in race number 7. My other outsider selection is number 7, which is Stand By Me. Now, if you have a look here, Stand By Me ran over the 1800 meter last time, which I deemed too far. The 1200 meters I deemed too short, and I think the 1400 meters is going to suit Stand By Me today. It also have one of my favorite jockeys, Muvizi on board from race 7. Doug Campbell, no donkey when he coming to the training ranks, and I think Stand By Me ready today to run a huge race, as is a 5-time winner from 48 runs, so certainly also are capable of winning this race. Then also we have a look at number 3, Two of Us. Two of Us has been running there and thereabouts, but I'm not a big fan today, although it's got Warren Kennedy on board, and certainly must have a chance. I've been following this horse for a while, and it was keep on disappointing me. So today I'm not on Two of Us, but then probably is the day that it's going to win. But yeah, as his mother's name say, let it be. Number 3, Two of Us. So let's move down to the last race, race number 8. We have a maiden plate over 1400 meters, and here the betting is as follows. 11 straight 6, 22 to 10, Water Rider 53 to 10, Montana Sky 6 to 1, number 9, Khan 9 to 1, Syra 14 to 1, Don't Touch Me 16 to 1, Northern Tune 16 to 1, Cleto 18 to 1, and 20 to 1, and longer the rest. So let's have a look here at my first selection here is number 6, Water Rider. This horse is also from the reason why I'm going with this horse is the stable is informed Dean Connemara, Kigo de Milo. This horse has run some decent races before, and last time out moved up well. And I think my selection today, Water Rider. The favorite here is number 11. Let's have a look at number 11. Number 11 straight 6 has been running places and run on last time over the 1400 meters. So certainly 11 straight 6 also in with a huge chance. Then my outsider selections is number 8. Montana Sky has also been running places on the poly over the scores and distance, certainly with not out of prayer. And then I want to have a look at number 9, Khan, my other outsider selection. This horse has only had 3 runs, but is improving today, and I think the 1400 meters today will definitely suit. Then I just wanted to have a look at another horse, which you might also want to include into your play, and that's number 2, Cesario. Although I don't have it in my quartet, but after I've done my selections, I did notice that number 2, Cesario, to the form, it doesn't look like there's much going on. But if you have a look, you'll see here 22.9, 400 to finish. Both runs on the Scottsville today over the poly, and it looks to me that this horse is going to improve because, as you can see here, from he's been running in some decent fields here. You'll see here 13 runners, 2 winners, 11 runners, 11 runners, 3 winners. So certainly number 2, Cesario, do include in all your quartet and trifectas plays. So that brings us to the end of our preview for today. It's the Greyville poly track. I hope I could point you in the right direction. And as I always say, break a leg.